Okay, and the 15th Amendment is the last of the Reconstruction Amendments or the Civil War Amendments. And that one was in 1870. So it's a very straightforward amendment. It's about voting rights. It states the rights of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of race, color, or previous condition of servitude. And this amendment is in the textbook. All three amendments are discussed in the textbook. Um, so this amendment was very important. There was a little bit, this amendment almost wasn't passed because some in the New Women's Movement, like Susan B. Anthony, were against the amendment because they felt that it should include women, and it didn't. It include ex-slaves, it include African Americans, it did not include women. And there were others in the women's rights movement who disagreed with other women who disagreed with Susan B. Anthony, and felt that this would be a good amendment that would be at least one step towards more voting rights for all people. And it viewed it as a step-by-step process. So there was actually a time in America when you had to own property to vote. So that meant renters and people who rented could not vote, like many cowboys in the West could not vote because they didn't own property. And many people couldn't vote because of not owning a property. And before that, then of course, there was another barrier to voting was for ex-slaves or slaves. So the 15th Amendment ended that barrier to African Americans, but it also did not apply to women. And so even though Susan B. Anthony was very much against slavery, she had fought to free slaves and had made speeches that she was a Quaker. Well, I'll cover her much more when we cover the women's movement. But she felt that it should include women at that time. It didn't happen. The amendment was passed, but certainly many people got to vote out of it that could not vote before. So it was a great advancement, but it took a long time then for another amendment much later that brought the right for women to vote. So that's just a brief discussion of some of the controversy over this last amendment. So we've discussed the Civil War amendments. The 13th Amendment outlawed slavery. The 14th Amendment reversed Dred Scott and gave citizenship to all freed slaves and all African Americans. The 15th Amendment was voting rights for African Americans that had voting rights, as well as anyone who had ever been a slave. So those are the three important amendments called the Civil War Amendments, that are also called the the Civil War Amendments and the Reconstruction Amendments. You see here, if you ever see this, perhaps the midterm exam, 13th Amendment banned slavery. The 14th Amendment gave citizenship to ex-slaves. And the 15th Amendment gave voting rights to all African Americans. No, all male African Americans, and then for all male ex-slaves. And that's the 15th Amendment.